Good afternoon. Welcome to the 1873 TV, where we are looking at active citizenship to the extent that we all have a shared understanding of what it is and what it is not. Then we can begin to talk about engagement as citizens, whether it be Zimbabwe or South Africa or United States. There is a pervasive feeling that people are generally disconnected from public power. And today I'm privileged to have Mr. Sovereign Heru. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Fine. And
Good.
you have taken time to look at this idea of active citizenship, and we looked at it in previous sessions. What we are asking today is what may be the missing dots in this puzzle.
Oh, okay. Yeah. As you recall, when we discussed about active citizenship, and then also the methodology, there is an assumption that we need to be aware of, an assumption about active citizenship. This is an assumption about two things. The assumption is that the active citizen has agency, and
Okay.
the active citizen has got the power within himself or herself to cause. That's power of causation.
Okay.
Yes, and we want to look at these two terms and see if we can extract an understanding about them, and then we look at application.
Okay.
Yes, the word agency comes from the word agent,
Yeah.
right? And in terms of meaning of the word agency, it's the capacity, the condition, or a state of exerting power.
Okay.
That's agency.
Okay. What would be the difference between agency and power of attorney?
Right. The same word is also a power of attorney, because it can be in relation on behalf of someone.
Okay, so you're saying in a representative democracy, if we are looking at civic matters, in a representative democracy, there has to be somebody who represents,
Exactly.
who acts on behalf of the sovereign.
Yes.
So would you agree that the address of sovereignty cannot be confused?
Yeah, it cannot, you see, when it comes to sovereignty,
Yeah.
many times there's been a misrepresentation, so to speak,
Yeah.
about what sovereignty is all about.
Yeah.
Sovereignty is in an individual.
Okay. That's significant because you are introducing a term that often is not discussed, because when we talk of sovereignty, we think of the country
Yes.
being the address of sovereignty
Or
or government.
Yes. Many times the three words state, nation, government are always assumed to be the address of sovereignty.
Why is that the case? Why is it often that people want to elect a president who then becomes the head of state and therefore the driver of change or causation? Can I simplify and say causation actually is related to motion?
Yes. Causation is about motion.
Okay.
Power of causation. it's related to motion. But I want to respond to your earlier question.
Okay.
About why we elect a person and then that person becomes the address of sovereignty.
Yeah.
When it comes to sovereignty, sovereign, right?
Yeah.
It's to do with the ultimate power that resides. The ultimate power that resides.
Okay.
Right?
When you say ultimate,
yes.
Is there penultimate?
I don't know what penultimate mean.
I'm saying ultimate, before ultimate, could there be another address which is not ultimate?
There can't be another address. It's the only address.
So we are saying there is no ultimate. It's the first and last address.
Exactly, yes. The Alpha and the Omega.
Okay.
It's the Alpha and the Omega. The individual is the place where you find sovereignty. Where you find
reason and free will.
Exactly, yes.
It's the address of reason. And so can a group acquire properties of reason and free will?
No, but before we do that, let's go back a little bit and address the issue of a public officer.
Yeah.
A political leader or any public officer, whether it's a member of the legislature or a member of the executive, their authority is derived from those who elect them.
So you are saying it's a derivative power, if it exists.
Yes.
But
the people who are elected are agents with, that's AGENTS.
So these are not superior to the seed.
No.
Okay.
The source of authority of any public officer lies in the citizen, which is the specific individual who exercises his authority, who exercises his consent and gives a mandate for public office.
Okay, you are onto something there. Yes. Because there is an issue that needs to be maybe expanded on. When I vote, do I actually transfer my sovereignty to another?
No, you are not transferring. It's like power of attorney. When you ask me to represent you in a legal transaction, you do not surrender that power.
I'll come back again. Is power surrenderable?
No, it is not surrenderable.
Okay. So it is inherent in the person.
Exactly, yes.
And that's a gift independent of the mischief or genius of men.
Yes.
So if you are listening or you are watching, add your voice. What is your take on this a specific and deliberate definition of sovereignty? That sovereignty can never be bought or sold, is not transferable, is not negotiable, is not assignable. If you have any view there, then add your view. So let's go forward now. So now that I go to a ballot, a polling station, first I have to surrender myself there. That's an act of sovereignty, is it?
Yes. Look at it this way. Until we have a better way of consenting in the process of selecting a public officer.
Yeah.
The ballot is the available procedure to choose a person who will represent you.
So what you are saying is instructive. You are saying that there is no better system known to men today. Yet. That would allow your free expression to be consolidated into a collective expression other than the ballot.
Yes.
Is that your take?
Yeah. Yes. As yet, there's no other.
And this is not a generational issue. Are you saying it's a generational issue, or yet includes other civilizations?
Yes, all civilizations. Remember, humankind has been improving in terms of the process of mandate, public mandate with consent of the land.
Yeah.
Right? That process, as of now, it is through the ballot system.
So your take is, as long as you have a representative democracy, maybe you can call it a Republican ideology.
Yes.
That the power that is exercised in the name of government is borrowed, is actually the people's power. That those who are in power are not really in power because they were never given the power in the first place.
Yes, they were never. They were never.
Okay. And that there's no mechanism of transferring your power of causation and agency to another.
No, there's never. That's why the word power, I cringe when the word power is used in respect of a public officer or a public office.
That's right. So we are saying actually we need to revise our ideas, refine them, so that we find appropriate terms. What we are calling power cannot go without being interrogated. So interrogate that idea for us. What is power?
Right. Let's look at if you want to look at the word power.
Okay.
It is the ability to act or produce an effect.
Okay. First, there must be an act, and there must be consequences.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
No, there must be an ability first.
First there must be
an ability.
Okay, so power, doesn't it start from an idea?
It comes from an idea, yes. It comes from
an
idea.
Then somebody must sift through the numerous ideas that can visit your mind.
Exactly, yes.
And make a choice.
Yeah, make a choice.
As to which idea calls for effort.
And then after choice, you make a decision.
That's right. Then you have now to be the agent of that decision.
Exactly.
You have to make the decision.
Yes, you can work through others.
But you must first make a decision as to what you want to happen. So if you don't want this person to be a president, that before you even act, there must be an idea.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Yes, there must be an idea. Yeah.
That I don't want or I want. The moment I make that idea, then I have to then follow the active citizenship methodology.
Exactly, yes.
I then have to reach out to others. Whether my idea is shared, it's mono, or it is hanging somewhere, or I can't even articulate what I don't want.
Exactly, yes.
Then it dies its natural death.
Yes.
Okay, now that I've decided, then I have to actually physically present myself to be the agent of action.
Yes, the agent of motion.
The agent that nothing will move out of its own unless something external
Yes.
propels it or gives it this movement. So we are now talking to which laws now?
That's the law of motion.
It's a law of physics, is it?
Yes, that's physics, yes.
And this is Newton. Are we talking about Newton?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So what is it that Newton said?
Newton brought in the idea of what energy is.
Yeah.
So the law of motion.
The law of motion, yeah.
Yes, yes. And let me access my resources here. The Newton's law of motion.
Yeah.
And he brought.
Hello?
Yes. Hello?
Yeah.
Are we together here?
Yeah, I'm back here.
Yeah. But if we're going to go that far, are we not going off the...
No, we just wanted to get the location of this causation and
Okay, the first law of motion.
and motion.
Okay, the first law of motion states that in order for the motion of an object to change, a force must act upon it.
Yeah.
In order for the motion of an object to change, a force must act upon it.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Then the second law of motion, he defined the relationship between acceleration, force, and mass.
Yeah.
Then the third one, at any time a force acts from one object to another, there's an equal force acting back on the original object. If you pull on a rope, therefore the rope is pulling back on you as well.
That's right.
Yes.
So there's an equal and opposite.
Yes, yes.
But central to all this, that motion requires causation.
Yes, an object that is not moving will not move until a force acts upon it.
Upon it. So if you want change
Yes.
and you are indifferent to it,
You must apply the first principle of motion.
that's right.
You must apply the principle that an object requires force act upon it for there to be motion.
That's right.
And whatever you are doing, you must know that there is an equal force opposite.
That will challenge you that don't expect an incumbent
Exactly.
to give you a red carpet to remove him.
Yes. Remember what I've been saying, that many times we expect benevolence to come to us.
That's right.
Yes.
We expect someone to just evaporate
Yes.
out of nothing,
Yeah.
out of our pain, and say, because we are in pain, just get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Yes.
Only to wake up and find the reality is the same as it was.
Exactly.
Unless you are the agent
Yes. Yes.
of Simba Mujuru is watching. He says energy cannot be started or finished, just transferred from one source to another.
Fine, but we are talking about causation, the power. We are talking of power today.
That's right. So, in fact, we have always used power. That you are in power. And therefore, You have the power to intimidate me, to ensure that the inherent powers that are in me can automatically fall away just because you want that to happen. How many people actually feel they are powerless?
Yeah, but you see, first of all, is it true that each of us, we have no capacity, no condition, or no state of acting at all, that we can then agree to the remark that we are powerless? Are we really powerless?
No, so when there are people who believe just that actually I don't count. I am just a small grain in a mountain of other grains. That whatever I do is of no consequence. I'm fatalistic. I'm nihilistic. I believe that the future is not my business because I'm too small. What would you say to those people?
Yeah, but that is where the issue of literacy about power comes in. That each of us, every human being, has got capacity to create motion. But that capacity does not necessarily extend to everything.
Okay. So you're saying it's a limited, it's a prescribed capacity.
You can say it's prescribed.
So who limits it then?
It is an impossibility that a person can have to create motion and affect everything.
Okay, so you're saying human lives by nature,
yes,
it does not give you the universe to deal with.
No, exactly, yes.
It limits you to what is possible within the human realm.
Exactly, yes.
So
that is when we have the use of the word locus of control.
So when someone says, I want to elect somebody who can run the country, what do you make of that? Just the idea of running a country.
That person who is electing should realize that he is electing his agent, Mushandi wake.
That's what you are saying, but people are saying we are looking for this Messiah to deliver manna on the table, and you are now saying no.
This whole concept of a Messiah comes because there are people who have deactivated their sovereignty. Deactivated their own.
No, now you are talking about something that I can deactivate.
Yes.
Something that is given permanently to me. How can I deactivate it when it's always with me?
You deactivate it by inertia, passiveness. Remember the definition of active citizenship. Active is being a word opposite to passive or a spectator.
Okay. Yeah.
So when you willfully choose to be passive, to be apathic and inertial, if you suffer from inertia and you choose to have apathy around you, you choose to be a spectator, you choose to wait for someone to do things that you should be doing. That is deactivation of your own power.
I think we will revisit that, whether deactivation means temporary death, or whether deactivation means passive, or when you are asleep. Can we say a person who is asleep is deactivated, or he remains active?
When you are asleep,
Yeah.
when you are in a state of sleep, you have deactivated your power of causation.
Oh, what? But your mental faculty, your sovereignty is still intact.
It is still intact. Just like
Because even to sleep itself, it's an act of sovereignty, is it?
Yes, because you are resting, remember. So that
Yeah.
the
But
body
nobody can rest on
better.
your behalf.
Nobody can rest on your behalf. Nobody can.
Does
rest on
that
your
include
behalf.
the president?
Yes, and you can also not rest forever.
So I can't go
There must be limitation.
to the toilet on your behalf.
No, you can't. There must be limitation to your rest as well.
Okay.
Yes, you can't rest forever.
So
If you are going to rest forever, then you are dead.
then you are dead.
Yes.
Okay. Henry Musikawano is watching. Welcome. Timothy Ngosi is watching. Welcome. So now we have this elephant in the room called power and power literacy. Where do we go to find wisdom and understanding about this idea of power? Because you will agree that in every society there's a power imbalance, maybe a power literacy imbalance. There are people who are generally looked up to and are assumed to have a better understanding of power. And there are people who generally are in the valley who look up to these pop stars. Sometimes who pontificate.
Right. When it comes to issue of power, the power one has arises out of the sovereignty that is located in each and every one of us. Then when we create institutions, when we create public or private institutions, we are not surrendering that sovereignty. We are not surrendering that power.
That's just.
That's why, in respect of a country, there is there for a constitution that defines, which is a document that defines the exercise of power.
Or that attempts to define.
Yes, it attempts to define two aspects: how citizens relate with each other.
Okay.
And two, how the governors are supposed to exercise the delegated power. Delegated power.
Okay. How governors
Governors.
or purported governors.
Yes, yes.
Because to govern is itself a term
Yes.
that requires a conversation.
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So assume we are all agreed. Ramai Marsh says hello, watching from work. And we are just trying to unpack these ideas around often used terms. I think Sovereign Heru is cautioning us against a abuse of the word power, the overuse of the word power, and sometimes the underuse of this word called power, and trying to dig deeper to understand what this entails. Because there are some people who generally believe that some human beings are more powerful than others, and therefore power must exist, and power must be transferable, assignable, and negotiable. That election is part of the negotiation of power, whereby somebody would take your inherent power and take it to State House, and you remain with less of it or nothing of it.
There's been a use of the term sovereign state, sovereign government.
Yeah.
This is a very popular term used and we often hear of it at UN agencies and other international fora. We need to disabuse ourselves from the misunderstanding about this word sovereign. Sovereign resides in a human being. Sovereignty resides in a human being. And in their collectiveness, these human beings create a nation state in the government, which is then delegated power. That is why the Constitution exists, to define that power, which becomes public power. And also it defines how these citizens who are sovereign relate with each other, so that you do not harm the welfare or interest of a fellow human being. And if there is adjudication required, that's where the judiciary comes in. On a day-to-day basis, there is an executive which is implementing the Constitution as agreed.
Okay.
And the laws related to that. So that's so when you create a government, it does not belong to one person or some few people.
Okay.
It is a platform where our collective sovereignty is exercised.
Okay, so there must be a collective address,
Yes.
and there must be a shared
Yes.
understanding.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
With that, it means when we then send our representatives in a republic,
yeah.
there is further mechanisms available,
Yeah.
so that they do not pretend to have our sovereignty.
Yeah.
And what are the mechanisms? One, whatever they are doing, whatever the decision they are making is done openly,
Yeah.
transparent. That's where transparency comes.
Yeah.
Two, whatever they are doing before they decide, they do consultations.
Yeah.
For example, in Zimbabwe, every law now requires public hearings.
Yeah.
It's now compulsory. There's no new law that comes into effect without consultations and hearings.
Yeah.
That is the principle of acknowledging that the people who are elected are not messiahs.
Are not principals.
They're not principals.
They are agents.
They're agents. AGENTS.
Okay.
Yes, they are agents.
Yeah.
They are sent. They are messengers. They are sent to do specific actions.
The people's business.
Exactly, people's business.
Not their business.
No, not their business. They are sent to do the business of the people who gave them, the business of the principals, so to speak.
So the principles remain the same.
Yes.
Okay. So at no stage
you don't surrender your principle.
Yeah.
You don't surrender.
You remain a principal ab initio.
Yes, that's why periodically
Uh,
there are elections.
yeah.
Why are there periodical elections?
Yeah.
It is an admission that
Yeah.
there is a limitation to the exercise of the delegated power.
Okay. So that limitation is imposed by who?
It's by the principles.
Okay, so these principles are you and me.
Yes.
But we need to be reminded that we are principles. Because sometimes we enter into life without anybody telling us that what we call government is our instrument to save us. And the people who act in the name of government are themselves agents of the very people that are outside government.
Yes, yes.
So they give you the authority, not the power,
Yes, yes.
to preside over their affairs
Yes.
in their interest.
Not all of them, not all the affairs. Well, remember, on a day-to-day basis, you have interests that you are pursuing in private capacity. That's why in the private domain, they are said to stay out.
So there's prescription.
Yes.
And there are limitations imposed.
Yes, yes.
That you are still human,
yes,
but you are given certain rights associated with obligations.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then you actually become a worker.
Yes, yes.
Of this structure called government.
Exactly, exactly. That is why you find that in terms of structure, there is the executive, the people's representatives, which is the parliament, and then within the executive there are civil servants.
That's right.
Public servants.
Not
servants of the public.
Not civilized people.
No, no, no. They are servants of the public.
So they are trustees.
The trustees are not the servants. The trustees are the executive. That's the executive.
Yeah. So these people, they draw their legitimacy.
Yes, yes.
From this transmission of agency.
Yes,
which is a bridge between the individual and the group.
Exactly. Remember that process.
Yeah.
It does not take away your sovereignty. It does not take away your power. Once it takes away your sovereignty power, that will be the collapse of human civilization.
So you are saying at all material times,
yes,
the power of causation and agency remains resident.
With the principle. Resident in the principle. You know, if I would point out this way. The reason why governments publish white paper.
Yeah.
That's a proposal.
But I thought it was for white people. So
no.
White paper is for black people as well.
No. You see, in the process of this whole system, there is a white paper, then there's a blue paper. The blue paper becomes the final copy, right? The white paper is the proposals they are making. These people who hold public power in trust, they are coming to the principles to say,
which is the public consultation process.
Yes.
And this is a public engagement.
Yes.
That let's engage the public, because it is in their name that government is created.
Yes.
But you think that aspect is understood?
It has to be understood. It may not be understood because there is no such literacy.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, then Oscar Tendere is watching. Rafael Moyo is watching. TCA says, we want you, Mr. Mawere, to work for us in the position of president in Zimbabwe. So T, I like your ambitious extrapolation. But Tozo Namaforo is watching. Tolani Taba is watching. Ramba Imash.
You don't have to announce all those who are watching.
No.
Let's get on to this.
Okay, we just wanted to make sure that because sometimes they think it's tyrannical when two people are talking. So there may be superstition and suspicion that we don't count here. We are just stooges. These people are talking about sovereignty because there may be somebody who is watching who may want to aid his job on this. Like Rurama says, man, blueprint.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, when someone is elected,
okay,
we must not, and we should not raise that person's usefulness to a messianic level.
So you are saying we should manage his ego?
Exactly. Yes.
So you should limit the ego of the beneficiary or borrowed authority.
Exactly. It's borrowed power. Yes.
No. We are saying let's try to understand that power itself cannot be borrowed because I can't take it away from me and give it to somebody. So maybe can you agree that we use authority as an alternative?
Yes, authority, yes.
That this is administrative authority.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yes,
it's not...
that is a better term.
Yeah.
Administrative authority, yes.
Just to limit... Okay, go ahead.
That is why they are on policies.
Yeah.
There are proposals that are published.
Yeah.
So that the principals are able to scrutinize.
Okay.
Are able to make comments.
Yeah.
Are able to provide input to those proposals.
As principals, not administrators.
No, not as administrators. But
so we must distinguish between an administrator and a principal.
Yes.
So sovereignty is in the name of the principal.
Yes.
Administration is in the name of the agent.
Yes. Then get note of this. Then the agent will take the proposals to the elected representatives in parliament.
That's the way the separation of powers comes in.
Yes.
Huh?
That's exactly it. It's a separate institution.
So I now go to the people's representatives.
Yes.
Who also draw their power directly from the people, like the executive.
Yes.
So both are agents.
Yes. The executive are the administrators.
Yeah.
That's why we call administration.
Okay, so what you are saying is I don't trust you guys.
Yes.
So I want you to look after my affairs. Because if I give the executive unfettered power, the propensity to misunderstand it and abuse it can be high. Does that make sense?
Yes. So they go to the people's representatives in the parliament, the legislature.
Yeah.
And those proposals are subjected to a three-way system. So stages.
Okay.
One, there's a first reading.
Okay.
Right?
Of a bill now. Okay.
right? Of the proposals to govern things in a particular way.
Okay.
Do things in a particular way.
To administer things.
In a particular way.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thanks for correcting me.
Yeah.
To administer things in a certain way.
Okay.
It's then referred to the legal committee to scrutinize it if it is constitutional.
Okay.
It comes back to second reading. There is a debate.
Okay.
There's media coverage for every stage. The report of
So
the
it's subject to to public scrutiny.
Yes.
So that exercise of power itself
Yes.
has got four corners.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So it is openly presented.
Okay.
It is openly debated.
Okay.
And it is reported upon.
But you are now assuming that the people in parliament come from heaven.
But guess what? That is where the various interest groups take interest in a specific matter.
Do you know a country called Zimbabwe?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to have a distraction a bit. Simba says, today you're talking about something I agree with 100%. So I think... so I just wanted you to laugh in there. Today you are not a stooge. Today you have earned your stripes to be a sovereign human being. Okay. So I was asking Zimbabwe because people genuinely believe that the difference is the same. That people in parliament and executive, they seem to come from the same womb. It's the same mother.
No, it is not.
That is futile.
Yeah. You see, in a parliamentary system, there is what is called caucus system.
Yeah.
The caucus system.
Yeah.
But that is not our worry right now.
Okay.
It's part of the system, the parliamentary system. Our worry is this.
The caucus is where you beat somebody, whip them.
Yes, exactly. Whipping system.
Okay.
At party level. But that is not our focus for now.
Okay.
I'm trying to show that the whole Republican system has an assumption that the citizens are the principals.
That at all material times,
yes,
they are vigilant.
Yes.
And they don't abdicate.
Inbuilt. Yes, it is inbuilt. And it is only our own selves to blame when we abdicate that role as principals.
Okay.
Yes.
So what you are saying is, for those who are watching, that the presumption of underpinning a Republican constitutional order is that the driver is under surveillance from the very people who have given the car. They are the ones who determine the pathway, or who ought to determine the pathway. They are the ones who have the power, who have the sovereignty to cause a deviation. The fact that in practice they may feel disconnected is not the problem of, or the mischief of the people in the driver's seat.
Yes.
The mischief or omission must be squarely put to the people who have the power. And it's you and me.
Guess what?
Yeah. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah?
Hello? Yeah, I lost you.
Okay.
I lost you briefly. Those people who find the state as the physical, as the address for sovereignty. Do you know what they say?
Yeah.
They create an impression that the person whom you have elected is the captain of an aeroplane, and you are all passengers, and you are beholden to the captain.
Okay. Isn't it different? They are saying that the person elect is a CEO.
Yes. But what I'm saying is, many times, this whole understanding we are discussing right now,
Yeah.
it conflicts with those people who see state as an aeroplane or a bus or a train, in which passengers are passive. They have no contribution to the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And it allows them to be passive and find time to laugh amongst themselves.
Yeah.
That is the notion which conflicts to what we are talking about.
Yeah.
Whenever we use the word statists, those people who see the state as the address of sovereignty, who see the state or the politician as a messiah, do not agree with what we are talking about, on the basis that there are presumptions, or assumptions rather. Their assumption is that the state is like an aeroplane, and the head of state is like the captain, and the ministers are the people who are serving you as stewards and hostesses in the aeroplane. And you have no way of checking what is going on in the...
But you are being generous. Why are you so generous on a Thursday? That ministers are supposed to serve. Ministers, they think they are the masters.
Yes, yeah. They think they are the masters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's call a spade a spade. Are ministers in government masters? That's for you to ponder, think.
Nobody in government is a master to anyone.
Yeah, no, I'm just mindful of the time that we allocated. We are left with 6 minutes,
Yes.
which is 5 minutes.
Yes.
So maybe you can wind up so that we also release you. Otherwise, tomorrow you will refuse to come back.
Yeah, sure, yeah. What I was saying is that the citizens, the people of a country are the principals. They delegate a portion of their power
Okay.
to the administrators, to the people whom they choose to become administrators of their collective interests. Remember, the people who are in government are responsible for the common interests for you and me.
Yeah.
The uncommon interests are the private interests for which I run by myself.
Okay.
Yes. The interests that bind you and me as two citizens who have elected a particular person to run our affairs, that is what's called public interests.
Okay. Again, we'll come back again. You are using run our affairs. That term itself may be problematic as we go forward.
Which term?
Running.
Yeah, I'm saying administering.
You said running.
Okay, but I wanted to say, those, when you and me agree to choose a particular person, or even if we don't agree, but majority of us choose a particular person to be responsible for the administrative affairs of our
That's
nation.
right. Now, please, when you are watching, remember this word. A CEO is not created by elections. The Republican constitutional order has no provision for a CEO. What it has provision for is a trustee, is a servant, who are under surveillance.
Yes. That's where the accountability comes in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Under surveillance, that's very true. We use a better term which is friendly so that they don't scared.
Yeah.
They don't get scared. We say we hold you accountable.
That's right.
Yes. Please come and explain the use of the administrative power you got from me.
That's right. What have you done with my power?
Yes.
And you are accountable
Exactly.
for the use of public power.
Yes.
Because it's not yours.
Yes.
It belongs to the owners.
Yes.
Okay. Any take-home points that you make? I see there's a comment here. But Simba, even the passengers in the plane can control the management role of the pilot. Stop boarding the plane.
How?
That's Henry Musikawanu's only, I guess, engineering.
But how do passengers in a plane control the captain in the cockpit?
I guess this is the point that is being advanced.
Because they can crash burn all of you.
Yeah. So, Henry, we will ask Mr. Sovereign Heru to maybe bear with us next time when we ask of his time. But if you think this session has been useful, please do indicate and write there. But for now, I can say goodbye. And
the next time I'm back on air,
yeah,
I would want to speak to the issue that Simba once raised about mineral resources or natural resources,
which is economic nationalism.
Exactly. The issue, in respect of what we've just been speaking about, I want to relate those two, and I want to try to share my views about it, and for which you will be able to.
So I think we have reached 1,000. I give you 1 minute. If you are interested in the subject of economic nationalism, please type Y. If I don't hear from you, then I assume you are no different from the apathetic, fatalistic, nihilistic people that Sovereign is talking about. So, I'm counting minutes.
Yes.
So please, if you are interested in this idea of the address of minerals,
even the thumbs up sign.
yeah. So please,
thumbs up sign.
yeah, okay, Msikawan, why? I'm saying is if you are interested in that subject so that we can advise Mr. Sovereign. Yes, Ramai Mash, you say why? I didn't ask for you to say why. I'm saying yes or no. Oscar, thank you. Yes, you are compliant. So can we just comply without asking why? So I got 1 and 2 whys. I need 10 so that we can be able to know that. Okay, Ramai Mash. Yes, we now have 3. Okay. Any more takers for the issue of resource nationalism? Whose minerals are they? Do they belong to the government or do they belong to the people in whose name a government is created? What is your take? Mr. Sovereign has got a different take on that issue. Are you interested in understanding that tech? If you are, all you have is to type Y. I got 3, and now I am coming close to 0, counting down. So if I don't hear from you, 30% is a failure. Those who are interested in knowing more so that they can also act in a considered manner and share ideas that matter, armed with the correct information or information that speaks to the blueprint of why the resources are there. I can see MC Wildfire, yes, that's 4. If we fail the exam, we can't come back. Mr. Sovereign needs to know whether you are there. Oscar, there's no double voting. 1 man, 1 vote. If we don't get those votes, then Mr. Sovereign, I can say you have done your bit, because we can leave people, anything below 5 is not acceptable. Would you agree with me, Mr. Sovereign?
Yes,
we can't have 1,000 people who have viewed this conversation. And number 5, Raphael, we can't have 1,000 people who failed to raise 5, 10 yeses. And then we say we are doing it for you. This is not gratitude. Okay, that's why people become dictators in Africa, you know that. Miriam, yes, yeah, you have tipped, now we're 60%. That's why people become dictators. Because the people they serve actually want them to be dictators. So, we have 60%. Mr. Sovereign, are you happy with 60%?
Yeah, but I would have been better.
Yeah.
My time is up.
Okay, thanks. So I think we are 60%, so the Y's have it. Thank you very much.
No, that's fine. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.